weekend too, like this, where people just put the rifle down and just walk in.
Yeah.
But this building might have had some security right there in the front, and maybe that's what happened. Tom will, I'm sure, dig it out. The reporters will find out. The 33rd floor, that's going to play into this somehow. Why that floor? Why is he there? And he commits suicide there. So, there's going to be an interesting set of facts to unravel as why the shooter is there.
And how he's able to get that far. Tom Winter has some new reporting. Tom, let's get you in here.
Sure. So I just want to be clear with the specific floor. We've heard that change several times, and that's not surprising to me because an individual is going to report certain things at certain floor. Which one did he go to? Of course, there's stairwells, there's fire escapes, so fire stairwells. So this individual could have traveled up and down floors. So I just want to mention that. So this person was described to us as an individual that they're looking for. They believe in connection with this incident. We're still waiting to get some name and other details from this person. We do know that one police officer working a paid detail was shot as a result of this incident. We know that at least one civilian has been critically injured as a result of this incident, and it is possible that other civilians could have been injured. I put a bit of an asterisk on that, Tom. You can only imagine the situation in a New York City office building. An individual comes in and starts shooting. We have seen injuries in the past, people trying to run, people trying to flee. Understandably, they fall down, they injure themselves in that process. So I'm still trying to get some additional information, but it does appear preliminarily at least one police officer shot, condition unknown, working a paid detail in Midtown Manhattan, and then another individual, somebody who's not a police officer, was also shot as well, and waiting to hear if we're going to hear about any other additional injuries or shooting victims. So that's some information that we're working on. How this basically went down, I'm told, is that it came out over the radio that an officer, there's some sort of an engagement here that occurs, obviously, and then at that point, police immediately identified the severity of the situation and called for SRG units, which is the NYPD Strategic Response Group. That group was stood up after a number of terror incidents in Europe under Bill Bratton's command. And basically what the idea of that unit was that there would always be police officers on the street conducting police work that had the heavy weapons, the NYPD's assault rifles, in the truck, in the car, ready to go as soon as there was a reported active shooter. And that's what happened here tonight. In the training, and I've been out with the training with this team on several occasions and gone to the NYPD's active shooter school, they basically, they're training and they're continually told and yelled at to go towards the shooting. It's the last thing you and I would do, Tom. If I saw this guy in the street, I'd run, pick up the phone, and call 911. But they are trained to go towards that incident, try to confront this individual. At the very least, he's going to be paying attention to police and not to people that would be working in an office building or any other major building or event site here in New York City. So that's kind of how this went down. That's how this went. The top of the police department are there. I mean, you've got the chief of the department are there, the deputy mayor for public safety. You've got all the top brass in the city either responding or already at the scene. They were there even before I joined you on set within a half hour of this incident. So that should give you a sense of what happened. I called an awful lot of police officers into this part of the city. There is a multi-block radius cordoned off around it. They are in the process of evacuating floor by floor, getting people out of the building and getting them into elevators or getting them into the stairwells to get people out. So that's where this stands at this time. They're going to slow it down here a little bit because they, as our colleague Jonathan Deans reported, there is the possibility here that they know where this individual is. This incident may be over, and they're going to start to do some investigative work as well. Not that they hadn't been doing that already. So who this person is this definitely the person responsible for it? That's the type of information that they're looking at right now. But at least this is a photo that is circulating in law enforcement circles of an individual that they are interested in finding possibly in connection with this incident. Tom, we were talking about when I first came on and joined you about a half hour ago, how unusual it is to see somebody with a weapon like this in New York City. I certainly have never seen it, and if I did, I would run to find the closest police officer and be calling 911 while I was running. So this is not something that we see in New York City at all. clearly not a police officer, and definitely grabbed the attention of whoever was working there at the building. So we hope that everybody here survives this incident, but we're still waiting on getting firm conditions, and we're still waiting on hearing. I'm just going to check my email as I say it, whether or not the mayor is going to have a specific press conference time. That's typically a bulletin that goes out to all of us reporters.
If you're just joining our coverage here, we continue to monitor the massive police situation in Midtown Manhattan right now. From what we understand, there was a shooting around 6 o'clock tonight on 52nd Street and Park Avenue, Park between 52nd and 51st. It is 345 Park Avenue. It is the headquarters of the investment giant Blackstone. It is unclear what the gunman's motives were, but that was the picture we were just showing to you. He simply, what appears from the surveillance video, strolled into 345 Park Avenue with what looks like to be an assault rifle with a very heavy magazine, maybe something on the muzzle as well. Strolls in, shoots at least one civilian, and shoots a police officer who was on detail. The conditions of those people and whether more people were shot is still unclear. That building is on lockdown. We also have from Jonathan Deans, our reporter for WNBC, NBC New York, has reported that the gunman appears to be down. Either he took his own life or police took him out. That's still unclear. We know the skyscraper is around 44 floors. Usually they have pretty strong security. But if that man was able to enter the building, then enter the elevator bank with an assault rifle is terrifying because it's unclear where he was headed or what he wanted to do. Stephen Romo is on the scene for us right now. Stephen, give us a sort of an eye of what you're seeing and what you're hearing right now.
Hey, Tom, yes, we're at 51st and 3rd, about as close as we can get to the building right now. And it's a real scene, as you can imagine. These people all around looking and worried about the shooter that was reported loose in Midtown Manhattan, waiting eagerly for an update from police. We saw Mayor Eric Adams tweeting the latest information. People I talked to, just making my way over to our crew, saying that they are watching Twitter looking for any kind of update because they would like to try to make it through and go home. It's also surreal to see people looking out of these buildings, people who are closer to this building on Park, trying to make their way over there. Also seeing police officers even being kept back. We saw police officers with their full gear on making their way closer to the building, but other officers, we told they have very little information, that they need to stay back as well. This, as you mentioned, this building, home to a lot of major firms, you mentioned Blackstone, the NFL. It is a massive building. It looks like it takes up this full city block here. So you can imagine it's a long time for these officers to make their way through and sweep through this building. We're following the latest reporting you just mentioned as well from WNBC about this shooter and trying to get more information. So far, no update from officials here on the scene, but there are a lot of very worried spectators who are seeing this in the middle of their commute home for the most of them. Tom?
Yeah, Stephen, we thank you for your reporting. We're getting some new statements now from officials. This is New York's Governor Kathy Hochul. She's posted on X saying, "I've been briefed on an active shooter situation in Midtown Manhattan. Please avoid the area of 52nd Street between Park and 3rd. FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino posted on X saying, Bongino, FBI New York Field Office Management personnel and active agents are responding to provide support at the active crime scene in Manhattan." So you have both the FBI and the NYPD on this. On the left hand of your screen, this is the gunman we believe entered 345 Park Avenue on Park between 52nd and 51st around 6 o'clock tonight and started firing. We know at least one civilian and a police officer have been shot. It is still unclear how they're doing tonight. It is our understanding from our Jonathan Deans, who works for NBC New York, that the shooter is down. It's unclear if he shot himself or if he was shot by police, but it appears he somehow got into the building, then was able to access the elevator bank, and then somehow get to at least maybe the 33rd floor. But that, again, this information could all change. It's very fluid. It's what's come in tonight, and the shooting happened around 2 hours ago, less than that. Tom Winter has been on the phone. He's got some new information for us. Tom, what can you tell our viewers?
Yeah, so Tom, we are confirming for New York City. Law enforcement officials say that the shooter is deceased, and deceased as a result of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The NYPD has eyes on the shooter inside of this building, 345 Park Avenue, and now, given the nature of the incident, the fact that his chest appears to be be puffed out here. They're not sure why this person did this, what their motive or background is at all. They do not have a name on the individual. And so at this stage of the investigation, they want to be very cautious that there's not anything on him that could further injure police officers.
Any type of explosive is what you're talking about. Yeah,
right, exactly right. So I would not be shocked if we see the bomb squad show up. That's kind of standard protocol. That doesn't necessarily mean that there's an explosive device. But since this individual, they have eyes on this individual, is deceased, their feeling at this moment is that just take all the time that they need to make sure nobody else gets hurt here. So that's at least the initial indication from the scene. They're trying to identify this person at this point, figure out what they're all about, and if there's any additional information or any additional thing that could be going on associated with this person. That's what they do all the time. Cautiously and guardedly optimistic about the condition of the police officer, but they're still in the process of treating that officer at the hospital. We know that another civilian has been shot as well, and we're starting to hear about at least one other civilian injury, but I don't know the nature of that injury.
So one shot, maybe somebody else hurt is what you're understanding.
Exactly.
You got to think, I mean, at 6 o'clock, Midtown Manhattan, this building, if this man came in, the amount of people he likely confronted or crossed if he was able to get into the building, get to the elevator bank, get up. But maybe he had his eyes set on a certain target. Maybe he knew what he wanted to do. It's unclear. It looks like he clearly had some of this planned. I mean, to be dressed like this, have the gun like that, and simply stroll in. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he was, you don't know what goes on in the mind of somebody who opens fire like this. And again, these are the photos being provided to us by police through sources, law enforcement sources, is how we're obtaining some of these photos. The police presence.
All right, shut the fuck up. Just shut up. All right, I'm gonna tag Chaotic Truth to this video. Hopefully he watches the entire video and sees that everything that we spoke about in that back and forth that we had. What was that? 8 months ago now? 8 months ago, Chaotic Truth. Me and you had a conversation, and it was something similar to this. It was an active stabber, I think it was. A guy who's supposed to be stabbed multiple people in New York City, and you opened up a live stream and started telling people why it was so dangerous to have Latinos in New York City, why Trump needs to deport all immigrants, blah, blah, blah. And I was telling you, it was a 33-year-old homeless man who was stabbing people in New York City that day. And notice the title of that video. I named it pretty much 33. I gave you all the definitions, all the numerical values of words that equal 33 that are connected to that incident. Right? That was a homeless person. Homeless equals 33. Like masonry, like police, like order, like secrecy. Like New York. Here we have another incident very similar to that one of an active shooter who's supposed to be shot one person and shot another police officer. So one civilian and one person was supposed to be shot today. And keep in mind that false flag is also 33. It's possible that none of this stuff even happened. But you guys heard what the guy said in the news. They said that the guy supposed to be killed himself after walking into a 44-floor building on a 44th day numerology when shooting and kill and execution on all 44. He got off on the 33rd floor. On the 33rd floor and shot himself. I mean, that's what the report is saying. This happened about 2 hours ago. The guy walks in the building, shoots two people, and then goes to the 33rd floor and kills himself. 33. It's always 33. Look at this. New York has gematria of 33. Actually, I'll make it fast. Look, false flag. For those of you that might be new to the channel, false flag equals 33. They always put this number in the headlines when there's a false flag incident like this one. Like the stabbing that happened 8 months ago when Chaotic Truth wanted to tell the whole world why Latinos should not live in New York City or should get deported by his homeboy, Donald Trump. Notice homeless equals 33. There was a homeless person. Homeless is 33 and 39, like New York. Right? Masonry. secrecy. All 33 terms, right? Police. A police officer was shot today. I mean, this is it's the same thing over and over and over again. We've been documenting this 33 pattern, order 33. We've been documenting this 33 stuff for years. Look at this. This was in 2020. 3 dead at a shopping complex in Arizona on a Wednesday when Westgate equals 44, like Wednesday. Wednesday equals 44, like shooting. The reason this false flag happened on a Monday is because today has 44-day numerology. I mean, this stuff has been going on for years, and yet people are so afraid to acknowledge it. Now, this incident happened on the 141st day of the year. When you write out 33 as a word, it equals 141. We've been documenting all these 33 rituals for years. 2020, that was 5 years ago. Over 5 years ago. Another 33 ritual. What was this? A guy was stopped at 3:30 when LAPD equals 33, like secrecy, like masonry, order, police. Should remind you of Trayvon Martin, who was buried on March 3rd. And Ronnie King beat on March 3rd. Well, come on, man. I don't even want to listen to the rest of that shit, man. That shit is nonsense. Stuff probably even never happened. And it's possible that it did happen, but it was still orchestrated. Doesn't mean it was organic. Doesn't mean that a guy just decided to stroll down Manhattan and just start shooting people with an assault rifle. First of all, if you're walking down Manhattan with a gun like this, you're not going to make it that far. I live in New York City. Trust me when I tell you. You're not going to make it that far. There's too many police officers, especially at 6 p.m. Not happening. Not happening. Okay, so they're giving some updates. I'll listen to a little bit more of this, but I wanted to make this video for Chaotic Truth because he always coming. He's always disrespecting this community, and you know this video that we did. Luckily, I downloaded it before because he deleted this video because he got owned in his debate. And right after the debate was over, go watch that live stream. He cut my segment out. He just deleted my segment and kept the rest of the live stream up. But luckily, I saved it, and I made you look like a fool. Because here you are reporting about a homeless man that supposedly stabbed multiple people, and you had no proof that it even happened. You couldn't prove that it happened. You couldn't prove that there was people injured. You couldn't prove that the guy got arrested. You couldn't prove anything. And I you know what? I also remember that I don't know if he was 33 years old, but I remember that it happened. He was supposed to be in jail and then he got released. Now I remember that story with the stabber. If I remember correctly, I think he got released from prison, and then a span of 33 days after his release, he started stabbing people in Manhattan. And it was saying how people with mental health should not, be out in public. It was something like that. But they coded the number 33 all over that story. And that's how I was trying to bring up I was trying to let him know about it. Like, this 33 number shows up all the time. And here he is. Here we have another situation of a guy killing himself on the 33rd floor of this Blackstone building, which supposedly is connected to the NFL as well. I think they said something about how the NFL has they conduct business in that building as well. But it's just more mockery, man. More mockery for the masses who always tend to believe what the news reports.
Something along those lines, and somewhat critical condition or sent to the hospital. But they do really want to calm that down to a point, get that
So the person speaking is a guy named Rob. Yeah, they took out his name, but this is the guy from the FBI. He's an FBI agent. Now it's a female speaking. So let's see what the female is reporting. She's at the scene. Let's see what she says. Let's see how many numbers they throw. And you guys heard what they said. The building is 44 floors on the 44th day numerology. All right, let's see what else they say.
32nd floor. Like, what does that tell you about what happened in those final moments? Rob, do we still have you? Hey, Rob, I'm not sure if you lost us there.
Do you have me?
Rob, I'm not sure if you can hear us. It looks like we might be having some technical difficulties, but if you can hear me.
I can't wait for them to release his name. I can't wait for them to release his name, who he is, where he's from. You're going to see more coded stuff. 33, 74, 42. I mean, the guy looks very dark-skinned. Maybe he's 42 years old. What you guys think about that?
Here, as we watch the developments, at least one officer, one civilian have been shot on the streets of New York. This is happening in Midtown Manhattan. We understand this building, the building where an active shooter went inside and possibly made it as high as the 32nd or 33rd floor, was a building that housed the NFL, KPMG, Blackstone, Deutsche Bank was also a tenant of that building. At this point, we still don't know exactly what that active shooter was doing in that building. If they were
look at the gematria of Blackstone. It goes 102, 30, and 60, just like police, just like the N-word, just like slavery.
An assault rifle with looks like a pretty long magazine, maybe a 30-round magazine, and possibly something on the end of that assault rifle and a tactical a strap. He's making his way towards that building. We understand it's 345 Park Avenue. This is in between 52nd, 51st Street. We're also being told that active shooter may have possibly ended his life on the 32nd or 33rd floor. It's unclear if there was a barricade situation, but that's what we're hearing from NYPD and sources right now. We're also monitoring the latest from our affiliate, NBC in New York. They've got a live reporter right now on the perimeter. I'm not sure if we have them, if we can pop them up right now. Yeah, it looks like we don't have that source coming in just now. So again, if you are tuning in, we are following this breaking news out of Midtown Manhattan. At least 2 people have been shot. We are awaiting any sort of update from NYPD in terms of how many other people may have been shot. Those were the initial reports that came in. We also understand that the shooter has been neutralized, as NYPD is put it. We understand that it might have been a self-inflicted gunshot wound in the higher floors of that building. Again, this is happening on Park Avenue, 345 Park Avenue. The Attorney General, Pam Bondi, right now posting on X, our U.S. Attorney in New York has set up a command post to assist with the shooting in New York. Local FBI agents on the scene. When it comes to the victims, we understand that one of them was a NYPD officer. The condition at this point is unknown, but we understand they were working a paid detail, so it's not clear exactly what that paid detail entailed. But we also hearing that there was another victim that was hit in this as well. And at this point, we are in a holding pattern, waiting to hear if there are any updates on the victims, the condition of those 2 victims. I believe we have reestablished a connection with Rob D'Amico here. Rob, I was asking you before we got cut off there. I mean, the fact that this shooter, you know, if you've been to buildings in any part of Manhattan, security is very tight. So the fact that he was able to make it to one of these higher floors, what does that tell you?
Well, security is in the fact electronics. They normally take a badge to get on the elevator to go to certain floors. Though I don't think the security in the lobby is going to stop someone with an AR-15 with a vest on. I heard he had a vest on, so he comes in with an AR-15. Unless you're an armed police officer, because there really aren't a lot of armed security guards in New York.
So this guy's name is Rob Amico, and he's an FBI agent. That's the guy speaking.
Past them, but normally, again, the elevator banks take a certain badge to get on a floor. That may be indicative that he had a badge to get him to a certain floor. That's my first thought on that, because I was just actually up in New York at 30 Rock visiting NBC and MSNBC, and I had to get a badge to go everywhere and be escorted.
You know, the reason I'm streaming about this stuff right now is because, there is a possibility that these shootings are actually happening. You know, it could be an agent conducting these shootings. I mean, there's a possibility that people have been shot. There's also a possibility that it's an entire hoax. But what's not a possibility is that it's organic. It's not organic. Whether people are shot or not, this is the work of the Illuminati, the Jesuit order, the Catholic Church. No doubt about that. But a part of me does think that maybe they do carry out these hits. Maybe they do injure innocent people just for the ritual. That is a possibility. Will we be able to confirm that? I don't know, because unless we find out if the person injured is actually injured, or we're able to visit the person at the hospital, we can't really know for a fact if there were two people injured. But these things are good to know, because people get drawn into these stories. They start believing it. And it's important to know who's really behind all of it. It's our own government behind all this stuff. The mayor and the governor, they know exactly what happened today. And so does the police commissioner. They know what this is. This is another drill. Now, part of me thinks that, they are carrying out these hits. Maybe they do injure people. Because they're not afraid to injure people. I mean, we saw that on September 11th.
And how soon is it going to be after this? Because it does look, eerily casual that he's walking up to that building. We don't know if there was a shooting that happened in front of the building and then he went inside, or there were shootings inside of the building. But how fast is the response time in Midtown Manhattan for some sort of active shooting like this?
I think it's pretty quick. Again, I was just up there and I was amazed by how many police officers I saw on every block. Though they're regular patrol officers. The one thing, he has an assault rifle. Most police vests, that round goes right through them. They're not made to stop assault rifles. They're made to stop pistol rounds. You have to have like something on the ESU or a SWAT team that has metal plates or ceramic plates. That's a level 4 that can stop an assault round. And that's usually only a small area, like right in the center of your chest. So you protect your vitals. If he had a vest on, which I'd heard in the beginning, again, that's social media, that's initially what came out. If he had a vest on, that could stop a patrolman's round, a 9mm round that most of those police officers carry. That can stop it in the vital area. So he has protection on, and the weapon he has will go right through a patrolman's vest. So until ESU gets there, that has bullet plates in it, that weapon can go right through a police officer's body.
You guys see this? This is the work of the 201 crew, you guys. This is the work of the 201 crew. So again, this happened at the Blackstone building. Notice who the CEO of Blackstone Group is. It's a guy named Stephen Schwarzman. Stephen Schwarzman. And he was born on Valentine's Day, 1947. And notice from today, the day of the shooting, to his upcoming birthday is 201 days. 201 days.
There's been at least one other individual that's been shot. It has been a difficult night for all of those involved. We do not yet have conditions on the parties that have been shot. We know that there's at least one other civilian that's been injured. We are now unfortunately hearing, Gotti, that those numbers are expected to climb as far as those that have been injured at a minimum as a result of this shooting incident. The person that the NYPD had been looking for in connection with this, they believe is dead as a result of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. They're in the process of conducting this investigation. We do not have a name on or off the record of the individual that they believe is responsible for this. The person they've been looking for is that image that's located directly below me, right down here, and that's the person that was captured on surveillance video entering the building. You're looking at the kind of the wider surveillance video, and then because of the technology of these cameras these days, they're able to put that person in kind of a zoom box and give us a more detailed photograph of this person. So that's the information that we've...
And notice that this ritual comes right before his 79th birthday, when Society of Jesus equals 79, like murder. We don't know if there's any dead people, but notice what else is 79, right? The name Stephen A. Schwarzman. His name is also 214, like how his birthday's on Valentine's Day. So on 214, he will turn 79 years old. So we'll see what happens before his or after his next birthday. Because this ritual coming 201 days before his birthday is no accident, you guys.
Floor by floor, office by office.
And do I really need to explain the significance of 201? I don't think I need to do that.
One side of the building. Understandably, I think, Gotti, I'm not going to share a lot of details about that process, just to out of an abundance of caution, one, to make sure nobody else is injured tonight, and to let those folks get out of that building safely. There's a number of blocks that are frozen pretty much just east of the building. I know you're familiar with the area, but if I was to walk out of the room that I'm in, broadcasting to you from, go out our office doors here and head east, we would run into St. Patrick's Cathedral. And it's just beyond that and a little further north. It's completely cordoned off. So this is a very busy commercial district. This is the heart of New York City, frankly. And there's been an active shooter tonight. That's something that the NYPD is trained for. That's why you saw those officers running in. You're looking at the video right now. They are trained. I've been on the NYPD active shooting training exercises. They're told to just not wait, to rush towards the gunfire and go. The incident, according to some of the preliminary information that I've received, basically once the shooting happened, they started calling all of the SRG units, the strategic response group. This was put into play after some of the terrorism incidents in Europe. The NYPD Commissioner Bratton at the time, others realizing that kind of the next threat may not be those large-scale terror attacks we saw in 9/11, but an active shooter. So that's who responded to this. It will continue to get you the details, Gotti, as they come in.
I appreciate that. And it seems like our colleague Jonathan Dienst over at WNBC, he's got some new reporting that the civilian shot may have been working as an accountant, possibly in the building. Their condition is unknown. Again, these are all details that are still coming in. It's very, very preliminary. But do you know more about the officer that was shot here?
We don't have, Tom, the reason why we're not saying any additional information about the officer, that officer, like the individual who was shot here, they have families, and I think out of respect to them and the ability for the NYPD to directly communicate with them is paramount. So we'll just leave it at the details that I shared with you. A detail officer working in this particular area that was shot as a result.
Got it. Tom, we're going to be checking back with you in just a bit. We understand Steve Romo, you just saw a shot of Stephen Romo. He is now at the scene. Steve, can you tell us what's it looking like from your vantage point?
Yeah, Gotti, as you can imagine, a chaotic situation. Some relief in the crowd getting that news that this is...
Yeah, this is definitely a chaotic situation. All right, I'll leave it there. Let's see what happens. Let's see when they release the name of the suspect, see what other details we find. But if you're just joining us, this happened on the 44th day numerology. A guy walks into a 44th floor building, kills himself on the 33rd floor after shooting two people, a civilian and a police officer. And of course, this happened at the Blackstone building, which is owned by, I forgot the guy's name, but it's 201 days before the CEO's birthday, Stephen or Stephen Schwartzman, who's the CEO of the Blackstone Group. Today is 201 days before his birthday. Of course, the Jesuit Order and all of Illuminati is 201. And again, these rituals are the work of the Jesuit Order. On the 44th day of numerology, we get another shooting story. When shooting equals 44, like kill and execution. And the guy ended up executing himself on the 33rd floor. How about that? Perfect for a nice little Monday in New York City. All right, so I'll leave it there. Let's see what other details they release. But yeah, chaotic truth. When will you learn, my brother? All right, you guys, take care. Enjoy your Monday. Peace.